Good morning. Welcome to today's Satsang. We will start with the fire ceremony. This fire ceremony signifies offering ourselves into the light, into the fire. First, we will do of Gayatri Mantra. And next, we will do Maha Liberation. So let us do mantras before we start today. Of Mithya. So we are using rice and we will offer it, bringing it up the astral sign, offer it into the fire, signifying offering the mass like Brahman to the fire and
Hello, namaste everyone. We'll have brief chanting before we start with the satsang. Let's begin with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, great Gurus, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswar, beloved Guru, Paramahansa Yogananda Ji, saints and sages of all religions, friend and guide Swami Kriyananda Ji, we humbly bow before you all. Divine Mother, sing through us. Help us to express our love through our voice, through our chanting. Help us to feel thy presence as we sing thy name. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda, Jai Guru, Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda, Jai Guru, Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda, Jai Guru, Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda, Jai Guru, Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda, Jai Guru, Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda, Jai Guru, Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda, Jai Guru, Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda, Jai Guru, Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda, Jai Guru, Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai. Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda 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 Jai Guru Jai. From joy I came, for joy I live. In sacred joy I melt again. From joy I came, for joy I live. In sacred joy I melt again. From joy I came, for joy I live. In sacred joy I melt again. From joy I came, for joy I live. In sacred joy I melt again. From joy I came, for joy I live. In sacred joy I melt again. From joy I came, for joy I live. In sacred joy I melt again. From joy I came, for joy I live. In sacred joy I melt again. From joy I came, for joy I live. In sacred joy I melt again. From joy I came, for joy I live. In sacred joy I melt again. From joy I came, for joy I live. In sacred joy I melt again. From joy I came, for joy I live. In sacred joy I melt again. From joy I came, for joy I live. In sacred joy I melt again. From joy I came, for joy I live. In sacred joy I melt again. From joy I came, for joy I live. In sacred joy I melt again. From joy I came, for joy I live. In sacred joy I melt again. From joy I came, for joy I live. In sacred joy I melt again. From joy I came, for joy I live. In sacred joy I melt again. From joy I came, for joy I live. In sacred joy I melt again. I came, for joy I live. In sacred joy I melt again. From joy I came, for joy I live. In sacred joy, I came for joy, I live in sacred joy, I melt again. From joy I came for joy, I live in sacred joy, I melt again. From joy I came for joy, I live in sacred joy, I melt again. From joy I came for joy, I live in sacred joy, I melt again. From joy I came for joy, I live in sacred joy, I melt again. From joy I came for joy, I live in sacred joy, I melt again. From joy I came for joy, I live in sacred joy, I melt again. From joy I came for joy, I live in sacred joy, I melt again. From joy I came for joy, I live in sacred joy, I melt again. From joy I came for joy, I live in sacred joy, I melt again. From joy I came for joy, I live in sacred joy, I melt again. From joy I came for joy, I live in sacred joy, I melt again. From joy I came for joy, I live in sacred joy, I melt again. Let's close our eyes and sit in meditation for a minute, feeling that joy within.
This next chant is, O God Beautiful. Realizing that God is in everything, in the forest, in the mountain, in the river, in the ocean. And God is in everyone, serviceful, lover, sorrowful, and the yogi. We'll sing first in English, then twice in Hindi, and then in English again. O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful. At thy feet, O I do bow, at thy feet, O I do bow. O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful. In the forest thou art green, in the forest thou art green, in the mountain thou art high, in the mountain thou art high, in the river thou art restless, in the river thou art restless, in the ocean thou art grave, in the the ocean, thou art grave. O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful. At thy feet, O I do bow. At thy feet, O I do bow. O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful, O God beautiful. To the serviceful thou art service, to the serviceful thou art service, to the lover thou art love, to the lover thou art love, to the restless thou art sympathy, to the restless thou art sympathy, to the yogi thou art bliss, to the yogi thou art bliss. He Hari Sundar, He Hari Sundar, He Hari Sundar, He Hari Sundar. तेरे चरण में शीश नमाए, तेरे चरण में शीश नमाए. हे हरि सुंदर, हे हरि सुंदर, हे हरि सुंदर, हे हरि सुंदर. बन बन में श्यामल श्यामल, बन बन में श्यामल श्यामल. गिरि गिरि में उन्नत उन्नत, गिरि गिरि में उन्नत उन्नत. संता चंचल चंचल, सरता सरता चंचल चंचल. सागर सागर गंभीर हे गुरु, सागर सागर गंभीर हे गुरु. हे हरि सुंदर, हे हरि सुंदर, हे हरि सुंदर, हे हरि सुंदर. तेरे चरण में शीश नमाए, तेरे चरण में शीश नमाए. हे हरि सुंदर, हे हरि सुंदर, हे हरि सुंदर, हे हरि सुंदर. सेवक जन के सेवा कर कर, सेवक जन के सेवा कर कर. प्रेमी जन के प्रेम कर्म करे, प्रेमी जन के प्रेम प्रेम करे. दुखी जनों के वेदन वेदन, दुखी जनों के वेदन वेदन. योगी जनों के आनंद हे गुरु, योगी जनों के आनंद हे गुरु. हे हरि सुंदर, हे हरि सुंदर, हे हरि सुंदर, हे हरि सुंदर. तेरे चरण में शीश नमाए, तेरे चरण में शीश नमाए. हे हरि सुंदर, हे हरि सुंदर, हे हरि सुंदर, हे हरि सुंदर. बन बन में श्यामल श्यामल, बन बन में श्यामल श्यामल. गिरि गिरि में उन्नत उन्नत, गिरि गिरि में उन्नत उन्नत. सरिता सरिता चंचल चंचल, सरिता सरिता चंचल चंचल. सागर सागर गंभीर हे हरि, सागर सागर गंभीर हे गु. हे हरि सुंदर, हे हरि सुंदर, हे हरि सुंदर, हे हरि सुंदर. तेरे चरण में शीश नमाए, तेरे चरण में शीश नमाए. हे हरि सुंदर, हे हरि सुंदर, हे हरि सुंदर. सेवक जन के सेवा कर करी, सेवक जन के सेवा सेवा करी. प्रेम जन के प्रेम कर, प्रेम जन के प्रेम कर. दुखी जनों के God beautiful, oh God beautiful, oh God beautiful, oh God beautiful. At thy feet, oh, I do bow. At thy feet, oh, I do bow. Oh God beautiful, oh God beautiful, oh God beautiful, oh God beautiful. To the serviceful thou art service, to the serviceful thou art service, to the lover thou art love, to the lover thou art love, to the yearnsful thou art sympathy, to the sorrowful thou art sympathy, to the yogi thou art bliss, to the yogi thou art bliss. O God beautiful, 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 O God beautiful. Sitting in silence just for a minute, feeling the beauty of this God everywhere around us.
With this chant, we request God and Guru to merge us back into the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. So do thou, Lord. I am the bubble, make me the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. So do thou, my Lord. So do thou, my Lord. Thou and I never apart. Thou and I never apart. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolving the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Make me the sea, oh make me the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. I am the bubble, make me the sea. So do thou, my Lord, so do thou, my Lord. Thou and I never apart. Thou and I never apart. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. Wave of the sea, dissolve in the sea. I am the bubble, make me 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 the sea. With this, we close the chanting session, and after a while, we'll have the satsang with Jayanti.
Good morning. Namaste. Welcome to today's satsang. The topic is Brahman Satyam, Jagat Mithya. We will start with few chants, some meditation, affirmations, reading, discourse, arti, and healing prayers. And then those of us who are here will go into the next room for prasad. So let us start with a prayer first, centering ourselves, getting ready to receive the blessings that we always do when we get together as Guru Bhais. Let's pray together. Divine Mother, Heavenly Father, friend, beloved God, Guru Preceptors, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Shri Yukteswarji, beloved Gurudeva, Paramhansa Yogananda Ji, saints and sages of all religions, dear friend and guide, Swami Kriyananda, humbly we bow at thy feet. Dear Lord, help us to live in thy presence, to keep tuning into thy presence. Help us to understand that nothing in this world will give us true happiness. Our true happiness lies with you, Satchidananda, ever conscious, ever existing, ever new bliss. Whenever we experience any happiness or joy in this world, let it be a constant reminder that much joy exists for us with you. Whenever any challenges come to us, let them be a constant reminder that this is not our home. Our home lies with thee. We are eternally yours. Bring us home to thee. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Chanting.
Thou art my life, thou art my love, thou art the sweetness which I do see. Thou art my life, thou art my love, thou art the sweetness which I do see. In the thought by mile abroad, in the thought by mile abroad, I taste thy name, so sweet, so sweet. Devotee knows how sweet you are. Devotee knows how sweet you are. He knows whom you let know. He knows whom you let know. Thou art my life, thou art my love, thou art the sweetness which I do see. Thou art my life, thou art my love, thou art the sweetness which I do see. In the thought by mile abroad, in the thought by mile abroad, I taste thy name, so sweet, so sweet. Devotee knows how sweet you are. Devotee knows how sweet you are. He knows whom you let know. He knows see. Thou art my life, thou art my love, sweetness which I do see. In the thought by my love brought, in the thought by my love brought, I taste thy name, so sweet, so sweet. Devotee knows how sweet you are, devotee knows how sweet you are. He knows whom you let know, he knows whom you let know. Thou art my life, thou art my love, thou art the sweetness which I do see. Thou art my life, thou art my love, thou art the sweetness which I do see. In the thought by my love brought, in the thought by my love brought, I taste thy name, so sweet, so sweet. Devotee knows how sweet you are, devotee knows how sweet you are, devotee knows how sweet you are. He knows whom you let know, he knows whom you let know. The next chant is O the King of the Infinite. O thou King of the Infinite, O thou King of the Infinite, I behold thee in Samadhi, I behold thee in Samadhi, in joy, animo joy, in the light of mellow joy, in joy, animo joy, in thy light of mellow joy. O the King of the Infinite, O thou King of the Infinite, I behold thee in Samadhi, I behold thee in Samadhi, in joy, animo joy, in thy light of mellow joy, in joy, animo joy, in thy light of mellow joy. O thou King of the Infinite, O thou King of the Infinite, I behold thee in Samadhi, I behold thee in Samadhi, in joy, animo joy, in thy light of mellow joy, in joy, animo joy, in thy light of mellow joy. O thou King of the Infinite, O thou King of the Infinite, I behold thee in Samadhi, I behold thee in Samadhi, in joy, animo joy, in thy light of mellow joy, in joy, animo joy, in thy light of mellow joy. O thou King of the Infinite, O thou King of the Infinite, I behold thee in Samadhi, I behold thee in Samadhi, in joy, animo joy, in thy light of mellow joy, in joy, animo joy, in thy light of mellow joy. O thou King of the Infinite, O thou King of the Infinite, I behold thee in Samadhi, I behold thee in Samadhi, in joy, animo joy, in thy light of mellow joy, in joy, animo joy, in thy light of mellow joy, in joy, animo joy, in thy light of mellow joy, in joy, animo joy, in thy light King of the infinite, O thou King of the infinite, I behold thee in Samadhi, I behold thee in Samadhi, in joy, animal joy, in thy light of mellow joy, in joy, animal joy, in thy light of mellow joy. Very brief meditation. It's a short meditation, so let's dive deep within the first moment itself.
As we continue to meditate, let us do this affirmation. It's from Affirmation for Self-Healing by Swami Kriyananda. This affirmation is called self-expansion. Swamiji writes, self-expansion is the essence of all aspiration. Why do we seek to possess things? Because by acquisition, we imagine we will expand our dominion. Why do we seek to learn more? Because we think by enlarging our knowledge to expand our understanding. And why do we seek ever new experiences? Because we believe that through them, we will expand our awareness. When you stretch a lump of dough outward, it becomes not only broader but thinner. Such often is the case when we stretch the mind only outwardly. Reaching out too far, we sacrifice depth in our lives. The self-expansion towards which all life aspires is of the spirit, an expansion of sympathy, of love, of the awareness that comes from sensing God's presence everywhere. Now let's do the affirmation. First, we will say this out loud to bring the attention of our mind to what we are saying. Then we will say it in normal voice, then more softly, then in whisper to take it deep into our subconscious mind. And lastly, I will say it out loud. You close your eyes, gaze into the spiritual eye, and plant these words as seeds into your subconscious, superconscious mind to be whenever we feel the need to bring it down. So let us start. I feel myself in the flowing brooks, in the flight of birds, in the raging wind, upon the mountains, in the gentle dance of flowers in a breeze, renouncing my little egoic self. I expand with my great soul self everywhere. Now in normal voice, I feel myself in the flowing brooks, in the flight of birds, in the raging wind, upon the mountains, in the gentle dance of flowers in a breeze, renouncing my little egoic self. I expand with my great soul self everywhere. More softly, I feel myself in the flowing brooks, in the flight of birds, in the raging wind, upon the mountains, in the gentle dancing of flowers in a breeze, renouncing my little egoic self. I expand with my great soul self everywhere. And now, in a whisper, to bring the attention of our subconscious mind, I feel myself in the flowing brooks, in the flight of birds, in the raging wind, upon the mountains, in the gentle dance of flowers, in a breeze, renouncing my little egoic self. I expand with my great soul self everywhere. Now sitting up straight, spine erect, shoulders pulled back, gaze uplifted at the spiritual eye. Follow me mentally as I say this out aloud. Connect with your super consciousness. I feel myself in the flowing brooks, in the flight of birds, in the raging wind upon the mountains, in the gentle dance of flowers in a breeze, Renouncing my little egoic self, I expand with my great soul self everywhere. As you continue meditating on this word, I will say out the prayer. Follow me mentally. Beloved Spirit in all that is, help me in my own nothingness to find myself one with all that is. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now I request Vinita and Shashank to read from Ray of the One Light and the Essence of Bhagavad Gita.
Om. This is the reading from Ray of the One Light. Week 3. Is God present even there where there is ignorance? Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneself with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. The Gospel of St. John, chapter 1, makes a reference to the divine light that is obscure to the rational faculty, but that enlightens our higher nature. The light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. Reason recoils from this statement with innumerable questions. What is this darkness? Is it conscious that it should comprehend anything? What sort of light would be capable of shining in darkness without transforming at least that part of the darkness in which it shines into light? Does this light shine only at night? And if so, why only then? The solution is that to divine sight, even daylight seems darkness. The sun itself, like the moon which shines only by the reflected light from the sun, is but a kind of reflection of the cosmic light, which, being immaterial, is invisible to the eyes, but which is the great source of all material reality. In Autobiography of a Yogi, Paramahansa Yogananda describes his youthful visit to Ram Gopal Mazumdar, the sleepless saint who lived in the vision of the hidden light. Around midnight, Yogananda wrote, Ram Gopal fell into silence, and I lay down on my blankets. Closing my eyes, I saw flashes of lightning. The vast space within me was a chamber of molten light. I opened my eyes and observed the same dazzling radiance. The room became a part of the infinite vault, which I beheld with interior vision. Why don't you go to sleep? Sir, how can I sleep in the presence of lightning, blazing whether my eyes are shut or open? You are blessed to have this experience. The spiritual radiations are not easily seen. The saint added a few words of affection. This is the light that shineth in darkness. It has been described variously in great scriptures. In the Bhagavad Gita, the 11th chapter, the devotee Arjuna is given an experience of the infinite state and exclaims in awe, if there should rise suddenly within the skies sunburst of 1,000 suns, flooding earth with beams undeemed of, then might be that holy ones majesty and radiance dreamed of. Thus, through holy scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Om.
Om. This next reading is from the essence of Bhagavad Gita, as explained by Master Paramhansa Yogananda and as remembered by Swami Kriyananda. These verses are from chapter 7 on the chapter of knowledge and wisdom, verse 6 to 14. Know that all beings, pure and impure, are born in this twofold Prakriti. I alone beget and dissolve the whole universe. O Arjuna, there is nothing above me nor beyond me. Through all things, as through the gemstones of a necklace, runs the thread of my all-unifying consciousness. O son of Kunti, the quality of dispassion, I am the fluidity of waters. I am the light of the moon and the sun. I am the Pranaba Om in the teachings of the Vedas. I am the silent roar of cosmic sound in the ether, the subtle vibrations of space. I am the manhood in the man. I am the wholesome fragrance of earth. I am the radiance of fire. I am the life of every creature. In holy ascetics, I am their austerity. Know me, O son of Pritha, to be the seed of all creatures. I am intelligence in the discerning. In those who are glorious, I am their glory. Among the powerful, O best of the Bharatas, I am the power without personal ambition and attachment. I am the sexual desire, karma in men, which is in keeping with the dharma, righteousness. Know that all manifestations of sattva, the elevating, rajas, the activating, and tamas, the darkening quality, emanate from me. They exist in me, though I am not apparent in them. Deluded by the three qualities of nature, mortal beings do not perceive me, changeless and beyond all qualities. It is indeed difficult to waken from my cosmic hypnosis instinct as it is with the three gunas, qualities of Maya. Only they who take shelter in me can find freedom from the wonderful power of illusion. Om Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you so much for those readings. So now the topic, Brahman Satyam, Jagat Mithya. This is a very iconic line from the Advaita philosophy of Adi Shankaracharya. In English, simple English, it translates to that only Brahman is truth. This world, as we see it, is untrue. Mithya means asat, false. What is Brahman? As we just saw, where Krishna says, he's everything. He's limitless, he's infinite, he's the cause of everything. Adi Shankaracharya defined Brahman as Satchidanand. And Paramahansa Yogananda defined that as ever existing, ever conscious, ever new bliss. And what is truth? Truth is. It is permanent. It is the same in past, in present, in future. It doesn't need anything else for its existence. That's truth. And what's Mithya? And this Jagat is Mithya. What do you mean, Mithya? For me, if I were to say, oh, this is all false, nothing exists. The scriptures say that, this is all false, untrue, this world doesn't exist, this wall doesn't exist, and I start walking towards the wall, what will happen? I'll bang my head and probably have a bump, right?
So what does that mean? It means that for all of us who are still caught up, it is very real. But for those who have experienced it, know that this is Mithya. So let us explore. For us, it's difficult to understand that reality. But then the scriptures and our masters have given us enough. So let's try to explore what does this mean. And we'll start with a story of Narad and Narayan. Narad, as we all know, is a celestial sage, always immersed in Narayana. He used to sing and go around singing the praise of Narayan all the time, Narayan, Narayan. One day, Narad comes to Narayan and says, Narayan, everything seems so simple to me, but how people are so caught up? It's so foolish, no? That they are so caught up in your Maya. Narayan says, very well, my son, let's go for a walk. So they go for a walk, and soon they come to a desert. There's sand all around. It's very hot. There's hot sun there. And the sand making it hotter. They both feel thirsty. And in the horizon, they see, wisp of smoke rising. Narayan says, listen, Narad, I'm feeling very thirsty. There seems to be some village there. Why don't you go and fetch me some water? Narad says, okay. And he's also feeling very thirsty and somehow trudges and goes to the village. The first house he comes to, he knocks on the door. The door is opened by a beautiful maiden. Swamiji writes that she seemed anciently familiar to him. In an instant, he forgot everything. He forgot why he was there. He fell in love with her. He was enamored and he wanted to marry her. So he asks if your parents are around. So they were there. It was a small hamlet. The father was the chief of that hamlet. They look at this monk, radiant, very handsome, and they're drawn to that boy, that young man, and they agree to give their daughter in marriage to him. But on one condition, the chief says that, she's my only daughter and I'm the chief. There's nobody after me. So you need to live in this village itself. He agrees, anything to marry her. So they marry and he settles down there. They start a business. And once the father-in-law passes away, he becomes the chief of that village. And it is a very harmonious life they are living, very much in love, beautiful life. They have 3 kids. So 12 years pass this way. One day there was this flash flood that comes to this village. The river is, in a deluge. The whole village, the huts are being swept away. And in that, even their house gets swept away. Narad catches hold of something. He holds one child in his hand. His wife picks up the little one and she holds onto his hand. He keeps one child on top of his shoulder and he's like holding on tight because the water is rushing. But what happens is when she's trying to stand on something, she loses her step and she falls, the wife. And with her, that little baby, both of them get swept away. And he is trying to catch hold of her. In the process, he leaves this kid. And when he's trying to grab that, this child also falls off. In a moment, he sees his entire life or the entire family being swept away. He's like grief-stricken. So he just lets go of this hand. He says, what's the use of me living now? He lets go and he's swept away. After some time, he hears Narad. Narad. He opens his eyes. He sees some mound on which he's lying. He thinks probably, there's some mound between that water that I'm lying. Again, that familiar voice, Narad, Narad. He opens his eyes. He sees Lord Vishnu. He says, I sent you half an hour ago to fetch water for me. You sleeping here? Narad says, half an hour. He looks around, there's all sand. Then he says, now I understand what you mean by the power of your Maya. But he was Narad, he was already self-realized. How do we understand this story for ours? So let us take a very mundane example of our own lives. Me sleeping, I'm playing as a little girl that I was with, around my parents.
Then I see the next scene where I'm all grown up. I'm some warrior and I'm fighting with somebody. That person hits me, hits the rod against my head. And this dream head actually feels the pain, right? So I am caught up in that sleep. And then suddenly I hear a voice saying, Ma, Ma. He says, where is my dosa? You went half an hour ago to make my dosa and I'm waiting and here you're sleeping. All groggy, I wake up. When I was dreaming, all that dream, it seemed so real, right? And this life didn't seem to exist. I didn't have any connection with this. But the moment I get up, I realize that was a dream. This is what it is, dosa is still to be made. That is what, for the saints, for the yogis who are awake in God, they know that all this that we experience, this Jagat, this whole world, this creation is a Mithya. So why did we get caught in all this? So the Indian scriptures say that God, the Supreme Spirit, the vibrationless pure soul, had this desireless desire to experience his joy through many. So he created a man. This man was meditating. He opened his eyes, looked around, closed his eyes, started meditating again, and merged back in God. God said, this show was so boring. Not even 2 seconds. I haven't even brought out my popcorn and this guy is already back. So he says, let me do something. So next he does something that we will get into. He creates through his power of Maya a lot of things. And again, he creates that man. And this man is blissful. And then he opens his eyes. And then he looks around. And he's got. And he's got for incarnations. So what did he do? How did he get caught? What was it? So this vibrational less spirit says, the scriptures say that he was just like a deep, calm ocean, no vibration. Then the storm of Maya blew on top of the surface. So he just flutters the surface, the vibration, there's a small flutter. Rest of it is still very calm. Imagine, visualize the ocean and just the flutter of the surface through the power of, he doesn't need any ingredients to create anything, right? It's all his own power. So the storm of Maya flutters, creates vibration on the surface of this pure spirit. And this vibration is para prakriti, the sound vibration of Om, God as Divine Mother, in the aspect of the Divine Mother. And when there is any vibration, there is movement, right? So in its outward movement, this vibration presents an idea of change using time, kal. So time is also an illusion. We just saw that what seemed like incarnations for us was just half an hour. So time, kal, space, desh, the divisions, and atoms, anu. Master said, every atom is endowed with individuality. Each jiva is endowed with individuality. And then the jiva feels, I'm different. I'm different from you. I'm different from you. I'm different from you. I'm different. And that is how we all get caught. Yeah. And this, as we said, that's outward. Visualize a pendulum. So there's this center, and then there is this force that takes it out. That is apara prakriti or prakriti, nature. In this outward movement is the outer show of what we see around us. The trees, you, me, birds, planets, stars. And then there is a force that tries to bring it back. But this force always has a momentum. So it keeps going and round till the Lord says, oh yeah, and he pulls it all back in. Right? Once, Paramahansa Yogananda and Swami Kriyananda were there. And Swami Kriyananda was he had just joined. Master suddenly asked, what makes the earth go round on its orbit around the sun?
Swamiji finds that question very weird. He says, why? I mean, it's a gravitational force of the sun. Master says, okay. What stops it from falling into the sun if there is a gravitational force? Swamiji thinks Master probably wants some astronomical lessons. So he says there's a centrifugal force and that is pulling it away always. So that is what keeps it on its orbit. Master smiled. He didn't say anything after that. Swamiji felt very, I told something to Master. Months later, he suddenly remembered this conversation and he realized that Master didn't want any astronomical lessons. He was giving him a very important spiritual lesson. And what was that? Sun, which is like, a manifestation of God. God is always pulling us through attractive force, omniscient feeling of love towards himself. That's a gravitational force. And then there is this repulsive force that is pulling us out through our desires, likes, dislikes. This repulsive force is constantly pulling us away from God. And what is this repulsive force? That's a force of Maya, the Apara Prakriti. That is what keeps this creation going. The Bible calls it Satan, very evil. But it is something that is a force that was, God himself had created, that pulls us out, and it can take us down to any levels of degradation as long as we allow it to. So somebody who is evil because he is allowing all that veil of Maya to surround him, the mud of Maya to surround him. And God is constantly pulling us back to himself. And this force is a very conscious force. Paramahansa Yogananda says that the satanic force that we talk about is a very conscious force. And the thing about Maya is that it almost seems to work. Almost. So if only I had not done this and done that, maybe it would have been successful. If only I had not married this person, but that, maybe I would have been happier. And we go on and on and on, because it almost just missed kind of feeling that we are left with, right? So story time. There was this man. He was a good man. He had made some spiritual progress, but he also had some desires left. So at the end of that life, when he was dying, the angel came to him and asked, okay, do you have any desires left? He said, yeah. This life, I have had a very weak body, very weak constitution. I didn't like it, Next life, please give me a nice, strong, healthy body. So angel says, okay, that has to. So next life he comes, he has a very strong body, very robust, but he was poor. So he had this good body, but he couldn't feed. He was always struggling to, he was always feeling hungry. So end of his life, again, the angel came and said, anything left? Anything that you didn't ask for? He says, yes, yes. So now I want a healthy body. I want money so that I can feed myself. Okay, the angel says, fine, wonderful, good idea. Next life, he has both. But then he realized he was getting bored. There's nothing. I mean, he has a lot of money. He had a good life. Then what? So at the end, again, the angel comes. He says, anything left again? Did you forget last time? He says, yes, yes. I had good money and good body, but I needed somebody to share it with. So give me a wife, a good wife. He says, okay. Okay. Next life, he has all three. But the wife, she was nice, very good, but she died young. Again, something left. End of life, angel comes back. He says, have you thought about everything? Anything left? He says, yes, yes. Now I know. Good body, good health, good money, wife who lives long. He says, okay, fine. So the next life, he comes, he gets all of this. The wife is a good wife. She lives long. She lives too long. He starts getting bored of her. So then he has a secretary, a young secretary. He falls in love. He's infatuated with her and leaves his wife, goes off with her. And that secretary was after his money. Soon she runs away with his money with her boyfriend. Again, he's dying. his end of his life, the angel comes, he says, now have you finished thinking everything? He says, yes, I have realized that I don't want any of this in health or poor health, in poverty, in wealth, anything. I want only thee, only God, only presence of God. It will make that presence of God with me will make me go through every experiences of life without being attached, without suffering the way I have been suffering. That is the problem. There was a survey that was done in America. You know, they had done a survey with people in different income groups. There were some relatively poor, some very wealthy. And the survey was to find out if they were happy with their income. And most of the people said they would be happier if only they had 10% more than what they're earning. 10% more, right? It is like Paramahansa Yogananda says that it is like a carrot on a stick in front of the donkey. The donkey is only looking at that stick 10% more, just that, and keeps pulling, trudging along, carrying a huge load behind it. That is what all of us are doing. Incarnations after incarnations, trudging along, carrying the load of the burden of karma, the problems, everything we are carrying along. Just that, 10% more, just if only. But as Master says, the dice is loaded and it is loaded against us. As he writes in the Mahabharata, his book, his description of Mahabharata, which he says that this war of Kurukshetra is not something that happened in the past, historical. Yes, it happened, but it is significant to each one of us. This war of Kurukshetra is a constant battle that all of us are fighting every moment, every decision, which is the war between our higher aspirations that take us to God and our lower, the materialistic desires that keep us away from God, that take us away from God. This is a constant battle. And in that story of Mahabharata, he says Shakuni was Maya. He was carrying that dice. The dice was loaded. Yudhishthir could never have won. But Maya kept telling him, maybe, you do this, probably next one. And Yudhishthir kept playing. Okay, this I lost. The next one, and the next, and the next, till he lost everything. His wealth, his kingdom, his brothers, his wife, everything was lost. That is what happens. But we continue to run around in circles, going round and round till one soul turns back and says, hey, listen, something is wrong here. I don't want to run anymore in this circle. As Master called it anguishing monotony. And he says, I want out. Krishna said that out of thousands, one seek me. But that one soul says, I'm done. I need help. I want to get out. The moment the soul starts feeling that, God sends help. He doesn't want us caught in this, right? We just saw God is constantly pulling us to, attracting us to with his love. Constantly he's there. He wants us back, but he has also given us the free will to choose him or to reject him. The moment the soul says, I'm done playing this game, he sends help in the form of a guru. The guru is a self-realized master who has played this game and said, I'm done, and did whatever needs to be done to get back and be awakened in God. And God sends the master, the guru, who comes and helps us with techniques, with devotion. When we follow the guru's help, when we accept his help and follow it, follow all the things that Patanjali in his Yoga Sutra had given a very universal, he was a technical saint. He gave us a formula. It's a universal formula, doesn't belong to any religion. He said, follow this 8 Ashtanga Yoga, 8-fold path, follow the yamas, follow the niyamas, sit in the right asana and do the pranayam. Our
what is pranayam? We confuse it as, breath control, whereas pranayam is the energy control, prana control. Our gurus have given us a wonderful technique of Kriya Yoga. In Autobiography of a Yogi, Master says that it is the airplane route to God. What do? We take charge of the prana in our astral spine and run it up and down the spine, in a way magnetizing the spine. And all that energy that we have been, expending through our senses, always going out, that magnetized spine reverses the flow of that energy and brings it up. And we concentrate at the spiritual eye. So we, offer it up to the spiritual eye. This is, as Master said, is the seat of joy, seat of enlightenment. So the more we do this, then, and also he had, Shri Yukteswar said, in the chapter, years in Master's hermitage, when he was training Paramahansa Yogananda, Mukunda, and other young boys, evenings, every evening, though, after they had finished the work, he would say, the darkness of Maya is approaching. Let us hae inward and do our kriyas. This is a Chudamani. This is what will release us. This is what will give us liberation. The more we follow that. And Paramahansa Yogananda had given, the various techniques of Hong Saw that he gave, the energization exercises. He said, when you follow these, they will cut the sense telephones, is what he said. And the energy that is moving out turns, reverses the way and comes in and up towards the spiritual eye. And when we do this, then we achieve higher states of meditation, of dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. In samadhi, there are various stages to samadhi, but the highest, the nirvikal samadhi, one is able to transcend the ego completely and overcome everything. Finally, the Jivan Muktas are completely able to let go of everything that was holding them, that bond that was holding them back, and let go back and merge in God. That is what is our aim, right? All of us want to, at some point want to say, I want only thee. And, some of us are still caught up. So we say, I want only thee, but I want thee, this, that, this also with thee. But then Master said, keep affirming. I want only thee. I want to only thee. So keep affirming. Even in that affirmation, slowly you will able to shift into that actual desire to find God. And once some of our, especially our line of gurus and some other Jivan Muktas who are merged back in God, they don't need to really come back into this planet. Why suffer, right? But they come. Master said in his poem, God's Boatman, he says, I want to ply my boat many times across the Gulf after death and return to Earth's shores from my home in space. I want to load my boat with all those waiting thirsty ones who have been left behind, that I may carry them to the opalescent pool of iridescent joy, there where my Father distributes his all desire-quenching liquid peace. Oh, I'll come back again and again, crossing a million crags of suffering. With bleeding feet I will come, if need be 1,000,000,000 times, as long as I know that one stray brother is left behind. That is a promise our Master has given. He's come back for us. He has taken birth in this lifetime as Paramahansa Yogananda. He didn't have to, but his compassion has made it come back to help us out. So let us allow him to help us out of this delusion and allow us to learn that this Jagat is a Mithya. Only Brahman is Satyam. So let us just sit in silence for a minute and listen to Swami Kriyananda reading out the poem Samadhi that Paramahansa Yogananda had written. He said he wrote it when he was going in the subway, New York subway. He said he experienced the state of Samadhi as he wrote. And he said, nobody noticed me Because us in our delusional world would never notice when somebody is in that state. So just for a moment, close our eyes and we will listen to Swamiji reading it.
Vanished the veils of light and shade, lifted every vapor of sorrow, sailed away all dawns of fleeting joy. Gone the dim sensory mirage, love, hate, health, disease, life, death, perished these false shadows on the screen of duality. Waves of laughter, syllables of sarcasm, melancholic whirlpools, melting in the vast sea of bliss. The storm of Maya stilled by magic wand of intuition deep. The universe, forgotten dream, subconsciously lurks, ready to invade my newly wakened memory divine. I live without the cosmic shadow, but it is not bereft of me. As the sea exists without the waves, but they breathe not without the sea. Dreams, wakings, states of deep turiya, sleep, present, past, future, no more for me, but ever present, all flowing I everywhere. Planets, stars, stardust, earth, volcanic bursts of doomsday cataclysms, creation's molding furnace, glaciers of silent X-rays, burning electron floods, thoughts of all men past, present, to come, every blade of grass, myself, mankind, each particle of universal dust, anger, greed, good, bad, salvation, lust, I swallowed, transmuted all into a vast ocean of blood of my own one being. Smoldering joy, oft puffed by meditation, blinding my tearful eyes, burst into immortal flames of bliss, consumed my tears, my frame, my all. Thou art I am thou, knowing, knower, known, as one, tranquil, unbroken thrill, eternally living, ever new peace. Enjoyable beyond imagination of expectancy, samadhi bliss, not an unconscious state, or mental chloroform without willful return. Samadhi but extends my conscious realm beyond limits of the mortal frame to farthest boundary of eternity, where I, the cosmic sea, watch the little ego floating in me. The sparrow, each grain of sand fall not without my sight. All space floats like an iceberg in my mental sea, colossal container I of all things made, by deeper, longer, thirsty, guru-given meditation comes this celestial samadhi. Mobile murmurs of atoms are heard, the dark earth, mountains, vales low, molten liquid, flowing seas change into vapors of nebulae. Om blows upon vapors, opening wondrously their veils. Oceans stand revealed, shining electrons, till, at last sound of the cosmic drum, vanish the grosser lights into eternal rays of all-pervading bliss. From joy I came, for joy I live, in sacred joy I melt. Ocean of mind, I drink all creation's waves, for veils of solid, liquid, vapor light lift aright. Myself in everything enters the great myself, gone forever, fitful, flickering shadows of mortal memory. Spotless is my mental sky, below, ahead, and high above. Eternity and I, one united ray, a tiny bubble of laughter, I am become the sea of mirth itself.
Let's have Aarti now.
Namo Narayana, Namo Narayan, Om Namo Narayana, Om 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 Namo Narayan. Om Namo Narayana, Om Namo Narayana, Om Namo Narayan, Om Narayan, Om Namo Narayana, Om Namo
Let us end today's session, Satsang, with sharing the blessing with all the souls who are in need. Let's pray together. Divine Mother, Thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all Thy children. Manifest Thy healing presence in all bodies, in all minds, and in all souls. Let's chant Om 3 times, sending out waves of Om out into this world. Om. 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 Divine Mother, may Thy love shine on the sanctuary of my devotion, and may we be able to share Thy love with all whom we meet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you all for joining. Joy to you all, and all of us who are here in this room. Let's go to the next room for Prashad.